Alright, gendarmerie. Ottoman gendarmerie is a rural police force nearly 100 years old, and yet it is too unorganised and under-equipped to fulfil its duties. Channeling more officers and funding into the gendarmerie command should greatly improve their capabilities. And it also gives us more political power gain, which is fantastic. Don't spoil who wins the US Civil War yet. We haven't actually played that far. The episode which came out yesterday is the last one that we've played so far. And we are recording again tomorrow. So there is supposed to be an episode tomorrow. We haven't recorded it. So it will be on Thursday instead. So I am sorry about that. There was a 2-day gap. Unfortunately, we have to work around other people's real-life schedules. Does Iron Guard Romania have a focus tree? Good question. I think so. Yep. Remilitarize Altania, Crane. Oh, of course they do, because that's one of the events that they have to go through. Armour effort, research, mechanization, factories, drilling for more oil. Not as widespread as some of the others, but certainly interesting. Oh, and one nation which is really far up my list to play is Ireland. Like, this looks fascinating. It's huge. It's Ireland, and it's huge. I really want to try this. I think that'd be really interesting. Aha! US Civil War. The combined syndicates of America have declared war on the United States. Second American Civil War. Boom, boom. Pacific States? Boom. So, actually the United States is looking fairly solid here. The Pacific States didn't get any of the additional territories, and I don't think the CSA did either. Our ideology has grown. Excellent. Because I want to keep on investing in that at the moment. Because if we get this higher than 60%, then we get more political power. Even Ecuador has a tree. Blimey. And there we go, Pacific States have declared war. Ecuador does indeed have a tree. Yes, because South America was like their latest update, was they added a bunch to South America. Interesting. Go Ireland. It would be nice to see you play as your country. Are you Irish then? What country will Valnoma take over once the PSA has been annexed? We were talking about Japan. We don't know 100% yet. Do I want someone to help in the Civil War? No thanks. We have enough. Even in Asia, liberalism isn't safe. Mechanical computing, and we got the new gun, and concentrated more guns. Construction, and improved machine tools, and concentrated industry 2. We got all of that on the same day. Fantastic. We are making old guns. Please make me new guns. New, bigger, boom boom. Marvellous. Gendarmerie is almost finished as well. Sweet. So far, so good. Will it last though? Crisis on the Danube. Here we go. Austrian Empire has declared war on Hungary. And we are so close to finishing this. We are 10 days away. So I think we'll be able to get Austria. Despite the victory in the Weltkrieg, the Austro-Hungarian Empire appeared bound to collapse. The Ausgleich of 1927, negotiated when Emperor Otto was still a child, managed to preserve it. So yes, you have indeed gone to war with your minions. And the Italian Federation declared war on Austria. Excellent. And Iron Guard Romania has declared war on Hungary. So you're fighting against these two, you're fighting against these two, and you're just fighting against them. It would be cool if Austria could take out Italy, because they did that in the previous game. And that was really interesting, having a really strong Austria there. Austro-Daimler. Reform the gendarmerie. Excellent. Ottoman read that one already. So, negotiate Austrian payments. The massive OPDA payments collected by the Austrian Empire every month are breaking our back. If we are to survive as a sovereign state, we need to take control of our own economy. Do it. Do it now. A minister supports his ideology. Social liberals increases, which we don't want, because that will break mostly into us. God damn it. I don't want this slipping below minus 500. Because that would be a disaster. Literally. So I need to be somewhat aware of this fact. We are extremely close to being in a disaster. And I assume that there will be negative events related to being in a disaster. Though thankfully I have not yet witnessed them. At least not as the Ottomans. I've been in a disaster as Russia, but it didn't really seem to have that much of an impact. Except for completely tanking your economy. But hey, what economy? Kingdom of Poland took 4 states. Galicia Lodomeria was annexed, so Poland is looking strong. And Hungary and Romania have made peace. Romania ate up a bunch of Hungary. That's not good. Although this means the Austrians could take Hungary back, and then they would be focusing entirely on Italy. So it is a good thing that we are focusing this one so quickly. Because it looks like they are just chomping their way through Hungary. Tsardom restored. The Russian Republic, created in the last years of the Weltkrieg, appears to only have lasted 20 years before its end. Plagued by disorder, conflict, and ineffective governments, the Republic lost the support of the people, and the Russian agencies now report that a successor to Nicholas II has finally been coronated as the new Tsar of the nation. Dmitry III, with 30% national unity. That is quite impressive. It looks like the USA is losing their central corridor. I'm amazed. Sometimes the AI actually manages to hold the central corridor. It's freaking impossible. Can't be done. Especially not when you have players in these two. Although, of course, as usual, there's collusion between Igel and Bussy. They told me afterwards that they haven't actually been attacking each other at all, focusing entirely on me. Great, thanks guys. Minuteman militias have advanced towards and captured the symbolic capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. They stormed the Capitol building and met strong resistance, but eventually they broke through and the flag of the American Union state now flies over the US Capitol. Keep it cool. I'm happy that you already have vacation. Now you can watch the streams. Awesome. Okay, so we have negotiated the Austrian stuff, with which we can now form the desert thingies or do the matters of state. It's still not 38, so I don't really see the reason to do that. I feel like I'm missing some other technologies. Because I did not... Oh, it's the Macedonian reforms. Right, this is where I usually go. But honestly, they can wait a little while. The ones that I'm doing right now are way more important. Okay, let's get the desert forces, and then we'll work on the Macedonian reforms. With our few resources and desert landscapes, we have to find a smart way of turning our weaknesses into an advantage. The deployment of organised imperial camel regiments is the best way to do this. Camels need very little water, are adapted to the terrain, and don't require any oil, giving them more flexibility than armoured vehicles. They will also give us the edge in the nomadic tribes of Arabia. Here we go, renegotiating Austrian payments. At the current rate, it will take until 1954 to pay back all of our foreign debt to Austria, but our top diplomats suggest there might be another way. With the recent trouble Austria is finding itself in, maybe we can reach a deal to forego the interest and only pay the principal we owe them. This one-time payment could potentially be made in the form of weapons, supplies, or consumer goods, all of which they badly need right now. I will offer the one-time payment. Let's get rid of this debt, shall we? 4 months. What? The Austrian Empire have rejected our payment in gold. Since they cannot be made to see reason, we are forced to cease all debt payments to them. Ottoman Empire declares default. OPDA reduced by -5. That's not what I was hoping for. Does that mean that I can now not get rid of the OP? Well, no, I've defaulted on them, so I must be able to. That probably just hurts relations between Austria and I. Austrian opinion of us. OPDA payments halted, -20. Different ideology, -30. Oh yeah, they hate us. Ottoman default, -100. Interesting. So the Austrians now hate us. Okay. Meh. I wonder if Austria may declare war. They might. Austrian Empire took 10 states. Hungary was annexed. 11,000 equipment was seized. Haiti declared war on the Dominican Republic. Mordred, while not scientific survey, the recent changes to Kaiserreich AI Germany always beats AI France. Before, France always seemed to win, so they did some real tweaking, it seems. Yes, I've still seen both nations win. I've seen the Commune of France and Germany hold pretty steady. until, interestingly, the French Republic gets involved. And this French Republic have a CB to actually declare war now, or a focus to declare war. They didn't have it when I played as France. It was the most frustratingly boring game I've ever played, so I might have to revisit that. But yeah, like this line will stay very, very solid, or maybe Germany will push in a tiny bit, but generally they can hold that front until someone else hits them from behind, and then that additional pressure is what eventually makes France fall. And we kind of saw that in the multiplayer game which we did on Saturday, where I was playing the Union of Britain allied with the Commune of France, and the border with Germany was unmoving. Like, it just would not shift, despite our best efforts. And then Germany, through some really stupid manipulation of crappy naval stuff, managed to invade Scotland. I mean, they're being held in Scotland, but magically, despite the fact that I still have a complete naval blockade around the UK, they are still shipping supplies into Edinburgh, despite I have literally got submarines parked outside of Rosyth in Edinburgh. Like, right there are my submarines, right there. And they're still getting those supplies. It's stupid. And the fact that they are able to seize control, and this is definitely an exploit, by the way, so close your ears if you don't want to hear exploits. I don't use exploits myself, but it's, excuse my French, fucking annoying. You can take control of a sea zone by dumping enough ships in there to take control of it and then setting them to do not engage. So they will just jump in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out of fights, never actually engage anyone, and therefore you don't lose anything. And it is impossible to retake superiority over a sea zone while they're doing that. Believe me, I've tried. And that's how they were able to land in Scotland. So despite the fact I had a really big navy, I beat the Germans at sea, and I had full control over the British waters, they brought in the French Republic, secured control over one province for long enough to land troops, and did the do not engage, so there was never any naval battle for me to retake control. It was... A large revolt of Druze tribesmen have recently been crushed by our desert rangers. Hundreds of rebels have been killed while the routed tribes returned to their villages and ceased their raids on our trade routes. Evidence shows that these revolts were being provoked by Hashemite agents. And this is what our gendarmerie do. Can confirm, Republic France is boring. Yeah, they kind of are. CNTFAI declared war on Spain. Is that who you were playing as, Patifi? I don't have the list in front of me. Yes, you were, I remember. The Spanish Civil War. Cool. Oh man, I was so angry about that. There was no way that any troops should have been able to land in Scotland. I have them contained there, but it's pulled troops away from the German border. And I'll give you that little tidbit for free. Government intervention with at least partial political stabilisation finally in place, we are prepared to enact a series of intensive reforms aimed at restoring pre-crisis industrial power. Modify Black Monday by -3% consumer goods, production efficiency increase, factory output and political power. Sweet. Desert Force is almost done, and then we can start on the Macedonian reforms. Excellent. Happy about that. Very happy about that. Belgrade Congress argues for a new order in the Balkans. On the initiative of Serbia, several countries have convened in Belgrade to discuss the political and military situation in the Balkans. During this Congress, a new military alliance was founded, the so-called Belgrade Pact. This is clearly aimed against our former ally, Bulgaria, of whom the countries have lost territory in the Welsh Creek. If we openly announce our support for Bulgaria, it may keep the Belgrade Pact from declaring war on them. I'm not getting involved in that fight, because I actually want Bulgaria to fall so I can take the Balkans. It's harsh, but it's the way you expand. We have the Imperial Camel Corps research, which is hidden. I spent far too long last time trying to find that. I think it's just what gives you the camel strength ability things. But it does not actually exist in the tech tree, despite it being a technology. Which is interesting that you can have hidden technologies like that. I think that's kind of... That has interesting uses for the future. Right, let's get matters of state and let's start going for the Macedonian reforms. The administration of Devlet I Aliye I Osmaniye, excuse my butchering of Turkish, is a serious task that must be undertaken with all seriousness it demands, plus 150 political power. Yes, please. That would be amazing. Alright, matters of state, that's still happening. Italian Federation of Austria have signed a white peace. An actual white peace? Yes, an actual white peace. Really? Despite the fact that you've actually annexed Hungary, and you have not, and you've just taken Czechoslovakia, you gave up with Italy. You totally could have taken Italy. Oh well, I guess that gives me another way into Europe. Via Italy, or via Austria, or via the Balkans. Loads of opportunities. Okay, this is still looking pretty three-way. Union State, I would say, is winning this one right now. Yeah, they are pushing quite deep into CSA territory and are definitely pushing the USA back. If the USA loses Texas, then that's bad for them. Lots of industry based in Texas, and more importantly, your oil is based in Texas, which you then sell in order to get more civilian factories. So you can build more than you perhaps might be considered. They took Venice. They did take Venice. So yeah, they took the territory, but they didn't puppet them, which I'm pretty sure they could have. Improved machine tools, plus 10% production efficiency. Let's go back over here and continue getting the bang bangs. You must take Vienna as the Ottomans, Mordred. It's been long overdue. I'll see what I can do. No promises, though. My track record with the Ottomans isn't exactly positive. Alright, so tanks. We do have excellent medium tanks from what I remember. Defense hardness, reliability, light tanks I don't care. Motorized for cheap. Actually, they're not. The Ottomans actually have the best artillery. Soft attack breakthrough, defense soft attack, so maybe I don't want to go tanks at all. Or maybe artillery with heavy tanks. You know what, I think that's probably what I want to do. We have chromium for heavy tanks. We don't have tungsten, which is actually needed for artillery, but also medium tanks. So we're going to have to find a source of tungsten. Okay, so we have the matters of state. So we could continue working on those. We can't do the Navy. Why can't we do the Navy? Must get rid of the OPDA and enact administrative reforms before we can make investment. I see. We could get the Inspectorate of the Army Modernization, which does give us 2 free military factories. Although I don't currently have the resources to actually send anything to those. The Ottoman Caliph, which makes all the Muslim world like us more. Except for the rebels. Or the reforms. No, we need the reforms. Following the footsteps of his father, our Sultan, Abdulmesid II, began setting up a framework to further reformation of his empire. Whether it will be successful is another question. Our old-headed bureaucracy might show resistance to the reforms. Never! They will cow down, and bow down, and cow down to our demands. Poland declared war on Ruthenia. Poland is super aggro. But that has put you at war with Germany. Syndicalism spreads to Burma. The situation in the restored Kingdom of Burma has long been precarious. Even after the British loyalists and Chinese citizens both vanished from its political scene. Heavily influenced by the neighbouring Bharatiya commune syndicalist ideology, protests had risen in 1936 at the Rangoon University, planting the seeds of chaos. Are you actually at war with Germany? You are. And that was not a national focus. That was you just declaring war on someone. I'm not convinced that was a good move there, Poland. If they were at war with France at the time, then sure. But you're surrounded by enemies. Yeah, that was a terrible idea. What the hell? Absolutely terrible. The Dominican Republic took one state. Haiti was annexed. And with it, the end of the greatest struggle of this century, I'm sure. German Empire took 9 states. Kingdom of Poland was annexed. That was just suicide. And now you are a puppet. A much smaller puppet. Turkestan Khanate took 9 states. Alash Order was annexed. So the Khanate's looking pretty strong. Mongolia is getting completely eaten here. Mark Leek looks like he's going to win that one. CNTFAI took out Spain. They probably, took Madrid. If Spain loses Madrid, it's game over. Concentrating, it's worth so many victory points. It's just so valuable. Right, so now knowing how strong artillery is for the Ottomans, do I wish to focus artillery more? than I otherwise would. I can also get doctrines, so I'm not going to get mobile warfare if I'm not going tanks. I'm not going superior firepower, I just don't like it much. I don't think it's very strong. Although 20% extra defense is pretty ridiculous. But you get more entrenchment. And that max planning speed is just so powerful. Defense 10%, organization 10. Defense 20, organization 10. Breakthrough and soft attack. Recovery rate, soft attack. Yeah, see, like the most important thing for these guys should be these vortex right here, and they're just so underwhelming. Support companies plus 25% soft attack and organization. That's only really worthwhile if you have every single support company, rather than field hospitals or engineers or scouts. It's a terrible payoff. More breakthrough for armor and tanks. More hard attack, more soft and hard attack. Enforcer. They're crap, honestly. Nope, I think I'm going to go with my age-old favourite Grand Battle Plan. And we do have another option, which still 37. I thought it was September 37. I think we're going to go with the artillery upgrade. Or we could go for the motorised and then get field hospitals. I think we don't need it massively right now. No, we're going to get the artillery upgrade. We're going to have the Ottoman artillery. Famous as it was about 500 years ago. You might want to be careful with the repayments to Germany. If they reject, you may not be able to side with them. Well, who says I need Germany? I might be restoring the Ottoman Empire and attacking Austria, and if Austria are allies with Germany, then it's no loss. They didn't exactly help us. I mean, yeah, they beat off the French and the British forces, but what would they have done? And they forced, like, these dire financial packages on us, even though their own economies were booming at the time. I know they're not now, but hey, we didn't know that at the time. We didn't know there was going to be a massive financial crash which destroyed most of the world's economy, including our own. I mean, we have suffered the effects of their own economic madness. So, yeah. Why are we beholden to them? I ask you, why are we beholden to them? Jewish immigrants from Algeria. With the current anti-Semitic prosecution rising in national fronts, many Algerian Jews have arrived in our nation seeking refuge and the right to settle in Palestine. Well, the Ottomans have actually been very religiously tolerant throughout their history, so yes, I will absolutely welcome them. Lose a bit of political power, but we gain manpower, and the French don't like us. I thought you wanted to side with them, must have been misremembering. I'd prefer to side with them than, say, any of the other powers in the game, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't just start my own faction. Egyptian weapon shipments caught in Basra. Thanks to an anonymous tip, 2 shipping containers full of rifles were discovered in the port Basra. Originating from an Egyptian port, these containers have been brought in by Spanish freighters. It appears that these weapons were destined for rebel groups in southern Iraq to be used against our soldiers. Gain a bunch of guns. And we have enough guns, actually, that we could start training some troops. I think I wish to train some more elite mountain guys. Let's get that going. Armenia declares independence. For many years, we have ruled over Armenia, but today our threats of war have pushed Armenia beyond any reason, as they have decided to break free from our sphere of influence, inciting riots in the eastern parts of our empire, inhabited by Armenian minorities in the process. How should we react? Crush them. So, I am going to need my mountain troops. All 3 of you. New unit. I'm going to give you to my best general. Commando Winter Specialist. That probably is the one. Unless we have a Mountain Specialist. We do. I think I'm going to give it to the Mountaineer. These are mountain troops after all, so that's generally where they'll be fighting. Let's do that. Let's do that. Off you go. Double quick. Double time. Macedonian reforms. Excellent. That is done. So next up we can start doing the legal reforms, the administrative reforms, or the educational reforms, which would mean more research. I mean, honestly, more research would be pretty amazing. Let's do the education reform so we can get the extra research time. I don't necessarily need the research slot at the moment. Reforming the education system on all levels, from the elementary schools to universities and traditional religious institutions, will help our nation regain its strength. Yes, it will. Alright, the armies are getting into position. We should be able to start moving in. In fact, we might be able to get in behind them over there. Oh no, you're actually fortifying. Damn it. I think we're going to need to send you some more troops. I don't want to send too many, otherwise we'll have supply issues over here. It is still in the mountains after all. Let them in. And then go and take the capital. You go and stop them. You go and stop them. Is that enough to win this fight? No. Keep on going on a bit of a rampage. I mean, you go and stop them from doing anything. You just keep taking the territory. So long as we keep them busy, then I'm happy. And by busy, I mean away from Yerevan. You hit them from the other direction. Yeah, we just need to take the territory and then this war is over. And if we finish this one quickly, then I think Tripoli won't declare a war on us. And there we go. Boom. I think the reason that Tripoli went against us last time is because the Arab states are kind of watching with interest to see how quickly he clamped down on these guys. And I forgot to attack in Armenia. I just forgot to attack them. Which is not the problem this time. But we are. Okay, so with that, we now know that we are going to have problems. So let's raise a unit of 12 men. 12. Here. Your job is going to be... Who's most likely to be problematic? Probably down here. Although supply is an issue. Well, we can keep an eye on supply down here. So we'll do that. Then I also want the garrison units. Because I know from last time that just sticking them here means you can basically... Whoops, not there. You can basically hold Suez indefinitely with these guys in place. Let's do something like this. And I would like somebody fairly defensive. I mean, Desert Fox would be nice. You do have an entrenchment bonus, but you have that experience gain, which is really annoying. I don't think supply is a problem for you. River attack, so we could do Nasi Pasha for you. You know what? I think that makes sense. Have I been making those new camel corps? I have. I haven't been making them, but we have access to them. And we have got a whole bunch. So speaking of the camel corps, we're going to grab you guys into one army, which will be commanded by our Desert Fox Panzer General, which is you. Harun Rashid Hintazat Pasha. And your job is going to be basically attacking Egypt from the north, which is mostly desert territory. And then you lot have the really fun job of dealing with Persia. I'm sure you will enjoy that. I might take some of your troops away. You don't need that many. Let's add 4 of you to that. And then I need to keep an eye on losses. Alright, so we are still making guns, we're still making artillery. I think we want to start making support equipment because we will be needing it eventually.